Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Carrow Road. Norwich City back in action this afternoon here, obviously, against Huddersfield Town. Their final game before Christmas and their final Carrow Road game of the year as well. And in a couple of minutes' time or so, we will bring you the team news. Daniel Farker's doing all right, isn't he?
Yeah, I might be a bit distracted. I've got the game on here, yeah. Some team in orange who aren't very good, it would appear. Shame, that.
Yeah, I know. It always happens to the nice ones, doesn't it? The team news will drop in a couple of minutes' time. It's going to be interesting. Let's get your thoughts, Paddy, on what way you think he'll go, because obviously last weekend that 2-2 draw, lots there that was positive, but actually underlying it probably a performance that wasn't that great. They're obviously going to need to show more against that today, against a team who has more draws in the Championship than anyone else. Which way do you think he goes today in terms of his lineup? Any changes for you that you foresee?
Well, I mean, bar the left back situation with McCallum / Yanulis, I certainly hope the other 10 would be pretty much as is, because they're the sort of players who in this run have brought a degree of stability and results-wise, absolutely, one win, one defeat in the last 7. Yeah, performance-wise, David acknowledged it at Portman Road, didn't he, that with the ball it could do a lot better, and we'd all agree. So I think there was a lot of elements from that group of players at Portman Road you'd be happy to go again with today, and then overlay a bit more of the panache we saw in the Sheffield Wednesday game here last time out at home, mainly Science and Rowe. Like to see a bit more from Ashley Barnes in a forward position, but other than that, yeah. And obviously the positive news yesterday, day before, about Sargent, Hanley, Gibson, Wang, So it'll be interesting actually for me, more than the 11, when that team news drops very shortly, what the bench looks like and how strong. Because I think if we looked at the bench last weekend, there wasn't a lot of game-changing elements there, and so we might be able to get a bit of advance notice here, mate. I see somebody coming with the team sheet, so you fill, mate, and then I'll grab one of those.
Good stuff. Yeah, you might be able to bring us the team news before I do, which would be nice. We're pretty close to there. Paddy Davitt has the team in his hand. Thank you very much. Read it for me.
Yanulis in. Gunn, Stacey, Duffy, McLean, Yanulis, Sarah and Nunez. Onel Hernandez in. Borja, Science, John Rowe, and
that's Ida out then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'll read it for you. So it's Gunn in goal, Stacey, Duffy, McLean, and Yanulis as the back 4. Sarah and Nunez as the midfield 2. Science, Rowe, and Hernandez behind Ashley Barnes as a lone striker, which means Adam Ida drops to the bench. Just run through that again for you. Gunn in goal, Stacey, Duffy, McLean, and Yanulis. Sarah and Nunez the midfield 2, with Science, Rowe, and Hernandez behind Ashley Barnes up front. Norwich City subs bench: George Long, Ben Gibson makes his return, Liam Gibbs, Adam Ida, Sam McCallum, Christian Fashnacht, Danny Bart, Ujo Huang, and Kellen Fisher. Interesting, Paddy, but probably points to maybe the type of game that David Wagner is expecting today, which is maybe more reliant on facing a relatively low block. He's gone with I guess that will be Rowe in a second striker role, but we'll see how it pans out when the game starts. But he's overloaded that with kind of attacking, creative players.
Yeah, so Rowe in the central Barnes role. Yeah, that is interesting for me. I'll be honest, of Barnes or Ida, I'd rather see Ida in at the minute. I don't think Ashley Barnes has offered too much. I know there was that stat that went out about the points per game ratio with him in the team as opposed to against, but there's a lot of other factors going to that sort of statistic. I don't think he's offered enough in his last 2 or 3 games, albeit he did get on the score sheet here, didn't he? But he missed 2 very good chances before in that game. So, and Onel back in again. So that's an interesting call. Noticeably, though, Huang on the bench. And you've got Fashnacht and Ida. So, and Gibson, of course. But in terms of attacking options, looks a lot better than last weekend in terms of depth. And I guess that's, looking at it without any prior knowledge, that's probably how it is going to look. It's going to be Barnes leading the line with Rowe in behind, Science and Hernandez the other way. Big opportunity for Onel, really. I felt once Science and Johnny Rowe had got in the team, he'd probably have limited opportunities. But as I say, maybe he's looked at that Barnes and Ida pairing that hasn't really produced in terms of thrust at the top end of the pitch. Of course, we know now Sargent is back in training properly on Monday. West Brom will be too soon, but not that long over the horizon. Josh Sargent will be back in this side. So, yeah, there's a bit of a shootout, I think, between Barnes and Ida now to who probably plays alongside him. So I think today, on Ellen, but I would still expect once Josh Sargent is fit and available to go, it'll probably be an Onel coming out of the side and Sargent coming in. But great opportunity for Onel, go and do something in terms of tangibly with an assist or a goal today in the final third, because that is the criticism. Let's get it straight. There's things that he offers in his game, but in measuring goals and assists, he's nowhere near. What was the last Carrow Road goal in 2019?
Yeah, 2019. It was in that, was it a 3-1 defeat to Manchester United in the Premier League, when he had that tussle with Wan-Bissaka that was quite tasty for a lot of that game. But that was, his last goal here. So, over 4 years ago now.
And obviously within that period, he's been away and out on loan and out of favour. So, it's not as dire as it might sound, 4 years and counting. But by the same token, when him and Fashnak were getting an opportunity, not that long ago, 3, 4, 5 games ago, they didn't really produce, did they? So, big chance for him today. And other than that, not surprised he's gone Yunus instead of McCallum. I saw one of the posters, though, Sam could feel a little bit hard done by. And I thought, he was good second half when he locked on a bit more to Wes Burns. I know Burns scored, but again, that was Barnes turning the ball over in a poor area of the pitch. But overall, I thought he did pretty decent, given he hadn't played in terms of start, I think, since October the 7th. So, it's a chance for Dimmy to come in and reassert himself. But other than that, pretty much how we thought it would go. I mean, you thought it changed, didn't you? So he has tweaked it slightly. But as I say, for me, looking at that squad today, that bench is considerably, on paper at least, stronger in terms of game-changing options if they need to do that in the second half here today.
Yeah, agreed. And nice to see, obviously, a couple of, as you listed, a couple of attacking options. Let's bring you that Huddersfield Town 11. This is what Darren Moore has gone with. Maxwell in goal, Lees, Hellick and Nakayama as the back three, Jackson and Headley as the two wing backs, who are a midfield three of Kasumu, Hogg, a player that David Wagner knows very, very well, and Rodoni, with Sorba Thomas and Borgzorg up front. There's a lot of power and pace in that front too. Their subs: Chapman, Edmonds, Green, Karoma, Diarra, Wiles, Hudlin, Osterfield, Ayana and Ayor Penda. That makes up their side. Darren Moore, of course, in charge of them. What do you make in terms of that midfield, Paddy? Because to me, that points to David Wagner, I guess similarly maybe to the Sheffield Wednesday game, expecting Norwich to have quite a bit of the ball, expecting this game to be a case of how successfully can Norwich break down Huddersfield. In transition, is there a fear with a midfield of Sarra, Nunez, Sainz, Rowe, Hernandez? Is there a fear about protection there? I guess you would hope Kenny McLean can step in and fulfil those duties, but that would then leave space behind him. We've just listed the maybe front two of Huddersfield having that, particularly Sorba Thomas, pace and power. Little bit of a fear for you there in terms of transitioning.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. But if you're David Wagner, it's the risk and reward element. And if he feels that midfield in terms of possession gets Norwich in a dominant position, then you would think those transitional moments, if Norwich are good in possession, and Sarra and Nunez can connect the dots through midfield and up to Barnes with your two overlapping fullbacks, that they're going to be pretty few and far between. So that aspect of it hopefully won't be exposed too much. I think, again, I'll go back now to the Sheffield Wednesday game, and they had that spell when Barry Bannon was sort of dictating and they were pressing really aggressively from the front after Sainz had scored for the rest of that first half. It was a little bit uncomfortable. They got the goal, didn't they? But then in the second half, when they tired, Sarra for me was the one that night. He really came to the fore. I mean, that brilliant flowing goal just after half time, finished by Barnes, but Sarra's pass. Didn't realise in real time, but when you watch that back on the video, that first time round the corner of the fullback straight into the path for Sainz to cut it across, that's what he's all about. And I think in this type of game, if Norwich are on the front foot through midfield areas and in the ascendancy, in contrast to last weekend when he just really had to put a shift in and do those things that you're asking for today, if they find themselves in that position, protecting a back four, digging in, putting their body in the way, taking a few kicks along the way as he did at Portman Road, that they can do that. But for me, hopefully, what Sarra and Nunez are tasked with today is more about getting up and around the opposition penalty box and really connecting the dots. Because if they are able to get in those areas, Norwich are in the ascendancy and they will win this game fairly comfortably, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Was it was it the Preston game where Ashley Barnes was up front by himself? I think it was. So there is maybe that kind of precedent of goals being an issue. I think after that they then brought him off and chucked a load of crosses into the box. So if ideally they could do one thing or the other, that would be good. But I guess he gives you that aerial presence in the box. But I agree, need to see more from him. But I guess that's probably a collective point on Norwich, isn't it? The performance aspect of today feels really important. You listed the run. It's 1 defeat in 7. Really tough festive period to come in terms of opposition on paper. I think after today, as it stands, Hull might be outside the top 6 come the full-time whistle, but it's 5 of their next 6 after this game are against teams inside the top 6. That's going to be a very, very tough one, but also may well be defining for Norwich City if they've got genuine playoff aspirations. Today feels like a real opportunity. It would take them within 2 points of the top 6 because of Hull's defeat last night. We need to see performance and result today, don't we?
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell, really. You got the result last week, and the character and the togetherness and the fighting spirit all on show. Many boxes ticked, but performance-wise, it was in contrast to the control that the Ipswich were able to exert. It was an uncomfortable watch for long spells, and certainly today, that's your baseline. What we saw that was good about Portman Road, culminating in a good result, but add in a bit more control, a bit more. No, we're going to pin you back, and we're going to, even if you go low block to us, we're going to have enough creativity and guile and imagination to, find the holes where the holes come up, move the ball quickly, good rotations, and just go and have an expressive performance that really suggests, because the results do suggest that the corner has been turned, and at 1 defeat in 8 as it would be then, albeit a very tough-looking festive period from here, but you can go into that with a degree of growing confidence and, dare I say it, momentum, and they'll need all of those elements because it does feel a very tough run. But flip that to a positive. If you're playing teams in and around you or just above you in the table, then if you can bounce in off the end of a good win today and a good performance, then go and take points off those teams, and you're banging the mix as we turn into 2024, aren't you?
Yep, I'm just trying to think of the players who are on the bench at Ipswich who missed out. Adam Forshaw's definitely one. Tony Springett is definitely one. Is the bench as was other than that in terms of obviously beyond the Poeta as well, not in the 11. Those were all involved in that Manchester City game last weekend, weren't they? How do you see this game going then, Paddy? A Huddersfield team who, as we've documented, have actually lost fewer games in the Championship this season than Norwich. They've lost 8, Norwich have lost 9, but they've got 10 draws. They are sitting pretty precariously above the relegation zone with QPR and Sheffield Wednesday. We've both seen them at Carrow Road in the last month, and they were both a lot better than their league position suggests. They'll be looking over their shoulder. This is there for Norwich City, isn't it, today?
Yeah, I mean, they're coming in, they're 2 wins in 15. You've got their owner, their US billionaire owner. He's flying in to sort of salvage their season, it felt like. Doesn't feel like a good mood music around Darren Moore and what they're trying to do. They did, having said that, get a battling point in stoppage time in Millwall last time out, so that that gives you a degree.
They were Leicester recently, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, but as I say, finding wins hard to come by. So, I mean, Hooks was very bullish, wasn't he, on social this morning? Felt there was going to be a big win. I've seen that sentiment echoed around the Norwich Twitter X space. So, yeah, I'm of the same opinion, really. As long as Norwich, from the start, impose what they're trying to do on Huddersfield. I just think there's too much quality in that 11, really, for Huddersfield to hold them at bay. So 2-0, 3-0 for me. You?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1. But I think Norwich will win this and win this pretty comfortably, which has to be the aim. Yeah. But it's a win, and it would it would help. But hopefully an improved performance as well. Although I could see your scenario panning out as well if Norwich can like they did against Sheffield Wednesday, get an early goal, but. There's going to be an opportunity for them here today. Pinkin.com, of course, the place to go for all the coverage, analysis, reaction to this game throughout the afternoon. We've got an offer as well in terms of subscription, which is entering its final 10 days or so, isn't it?
Perfect Christmas present, Connor.
Present. Yeah, if you've left it rather late. And of course, this is the last one we're going to do before Christmas. So for everyone that's watched or has watched this side of the year, we'll obviously be back at West Brom on Boxing Day, but have a very Merry Christmas. And let's hope Norwich City deliver the perfect present for us all with a nice 3 points. Thanks for watching.